Today we're making a really cute little wire wrapped bauble Christmas tree decoration. This design is inspired by the lighter case tutorial and also the Easter egg, so they're quite similar designs. You can wrap your wire around as much as you like and have it like a really complex design or have it quite basic. I've just done a nice simple one today, but you can mix that up however you like when you do yours. My little bauble I'm wrapping fits in the palm of my hand. I thought the green looks really cute with a black wire, but you could use silver as well. For a nice simple wrap like ours, we're using about 45 inches of the 16 gauge black wire. So I just measure that out and cut it to length. Then for our little connectors to secure it all together, we're using 26 gauge silver wire. I'm cutting it into lengths that are about 1.5 inches long, and we use about 12 or 15 of these little connectors. Now we're going to start with our 16 gauge wire, and with my pliers there I'm just putting a little spiral on the end of it just to start it off, and then we're going to place it onto our bauble and start forming it around in the ball shape. I just place it onto the bauble there near the top and just sort of firmly onto the bauble with some pressure. I just start to push it on and sort of hold it there and just gently work our wire onto the bauble, so it's going to start to form that shape. We bring it around this bauble sort of starting near the top and going around the center there, and we're going to start to work our way downwards on the bauble to sort of come around the whole ball shape. I'm sort of firmly holding it on there with one hand while I bring the wire around with the other hand, and I'm bringing it around in sort of spiral shapes and looping it around. Now on this top layer, so we've brought it right around the center there, and then we want this wire to meet up with the start part of the wire as well, bringing those over so they're next to each other, and then we can place one of our little connectors around those two wires there. So keeping them nice and flat and next to each other, we can just use our pliers to bring that little 26 gauge piece of wire around both of those black wires a couple of times to make a nice strong connection. I bring this little piece of wire around 4 or 5 times, and then just try and make sure that the ends of your wire are finishing off on the inside of the wrap, bringing it around nice and tight and tidy and crimping it down nice and flat. Then we can place our wrap back onto our bauble, and we're just going to keep working with our wire, bringing it around and working our way down and around the bauble. Bringing it around in different directions, making little spirals and holding it onto the bauble to see where the next connection needs to be made. So I'm just going to place one here, connecting these two wires here, and this just starts to form a little cage around our bauble. So just working around the whole bauble as you go. Using another one of the 26 gauge wire pieces to wrap around both of those black wires there sitting next to each other and make a really nice tight and tidy connection. You can put a dab of glue on these connectors later on when you're finished if you feel that they need it. And I'm just working with my pliers to bring that wire around nice and secure, making sure the tails finish on the inside of the wrap. It's totally up to you how sort of tight you weave your wires onto the bauble and what shapes you use. I just kind of like to use spirals and have it in a nice flowy sort of design, but it's really up to you how much wire you use and how sort of tight or even you make it. I just sort of work around the bauble, making the wire sort of go where it wants to naturally go, and just work my way around and down that bauble, putting the little connectors on and then finishing it up at the bottom. popping another connector on here. This top half is a little bit easier because you can take the wrap off the bauble to wrap these connectors around. As you get towards the bottom, you have to leave your bauble in the wrap to wrap the connectors around, so it's a little bit more fiddly and delicate. So just take your time. As you go, just try and keep track of where the top part of your bauble fits through the wrap, so you can just keep it on the same spot. I'm just going to go ahead and wrap the rest of our little bauble, and then I'll show you how I finish it up at the bottom. Now as you come to the bottom of your bauble, you just want to have a nice spiral in the end of your wire and bring that around so that you can attach that to another piece of wire near it. You want to make sure that your wire wrap has no holes that are big enough for your bauble to fit out. Check over your whole wire wrap, make sure there's enough connectors and that it's all sitting nice and even and tidy. So there's your cute little wire wrapped Christmas tree bauble.